I'm your host, Jason Tartick, and welcome to Trading Secrets. We talk all things money on this podcast, and we're teaching all the stuff we just weren't taught in the classroom. Nothing supports this show more than liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing. Welcome back to another episode of Trading Secrets. Today we are joined by professional dancer, choreographer, and Dancing with the Stars professional, Jenna Johnson. Jenna has spent all of her career in the world of dance, achieving accomplishments such as being a 5-time U.S. National Latin Dance Champion, 3-time National Contemporary Dance Champion, U.S. National Youth 10 Dance Champion, and many more. She gained recognition after joining Dancing with the Stars team back in 2014. Since then, she has participated in 8 different seasons, finished as the Mirrorball champion of season 26, grown her social media following exponentially, and among other things, met her now husband, Val, who you guys just had a kid within the last year, which is so exciting, year and a half. We are going to dive deep into the world of Dancing with the Stars, professional dance careers, how her life has changed since joining Dancing with the Stars world, and of course, our boy, Joey Grazia Day, how it's going this season. So Jenna, thank you for being on Trading Secrets.
Thank you for having me.
This is exciting stuff. I mean, this is going to come out in a couple of weeks, but we're sitting here the day after Dancing with the Stars premiere.
Yeah.
Joey Grazia Day scores a 21 out of 30, which is historically the highest score ever for a guy from the Bachelor franchise.
Yes, I just saw that.
Did you see that? Did that exceed your expectations? Like, what did you think the score was going to be going into last night?
Okay, well, I have to tell you, in general, seeing 7s on a premiere is unheard of.
Really?
Yes, and I was trying to prep Joey because we were also going first up. And I'm like, just prepare yourself, maybe some 4s, maybe some 5s.
Yeah.
They usually start pretty low so we can build.
Yeah.
So I think everyone saw my face and the shock when we got 3 7s. I was blown away. I was so excited. Yeah. But I'm so proud of Joey. I think to have the pressure to start off a season, a premiere by going first, that is a tall order, and he delivered.
Yeah,
and I'm so grateful that the judges responded the way that they did, the audience did. It was an amazing first dance.
Now, this isn't your first Joe you've had a partner with,
Yes.
nor is it your first Bachelor contestant. So Grocery Store Joe, we actually were on the same season. What do you think the biggest difference is right now when you look at Grocery Store Joe versus Joey Grazia Day as far as the performance? What's like the number one biggest difference?
I mean, obviously, I think the fans know Joe Amabile did not have any dance experience. It was just hard. It was really hard for him to pick up. I think Joey has a natural ability to like move his hips, groove a little bit. He has an understanding of timing, which is really hard to naturally have.
Yep.
But I will say, I think Joe Amabile made it the furthest out of any of the Bachelor contestants because he was so lovable and likable, and he just was down for the experience.
Yeah.
So we actually made it to the semifinals.
All right, looking at this season, I mean, I've watched the show now, I feel like, for 4 years. I feel like of any season, there's clearly one pro or one star that has like unbelievable dance experience.
She's incredible.
She's incredible.
Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler. But it seems like it's a pretty even playing field. Do you think this is one of the most even playing fields we've seen in the last like 4 or 5 years?
I do.
Okay.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Because it really makes the stakes even higher. And I feel like the scores are going to fluctuate each week depending on the dance style.
Okay.
So it makes things really exciting. And it makes the growth so exciting to watch and to see who can really exceed and retain information and who's going to like become a dancer.
Yeah. It's exciting stuff. It's fun to watch. Let me ask you this. Who surprised you the most week 1 other than Joey?
Yeah.
Who did you see and you're like, damn, I didn't expect that. That was good.
I'm going to say Danny.
Okay.
And we haven't rehearsed at the same time as them, as Whitney and Danny, but I was really shocked. I thought he looked so strong. I thought he was really emoting with his performance, and I guess I just wasn't expecting it from him.
Yeah. Okay.
So I knew that he would be like strong and committed to dancing and trying to get this, but he really like showed up game time, and I think that's the football player in him.
That's the athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, so did Dwight Howard.
Yes.
I mean, that was unbelievable.
I knew Dwight and Danny were going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny's an incredible choreographer, and he has so much charisma. So I knew that was going to be a show-stopping number.
Yep.
And then, like you said, Chandler was just in a league of her own. She's incredible.
Might as well sign her up to be a pro at this point. Unbelievable. All right, give me this. And we're going to get into your career track and how you got to where you are. But prediction, Final Four prediction. What do you think it looks like?
I'm going to knock on all the woods.
Knock on wood. I'm going to knock on wood. Give it context. It's just you're even manifesting.
Okay. As of last night, let me just judge it off of last night. As of last night, I'm going to go. I'm going to go Chandler.
Okay.
Steven and Riley.
Oh, they killed it. Yep.
Dwight and Danny.
Yep.
And I'm going to do myself and Joey.
Let's go. Love that. I think that's a good Final Four. We're knocking on wood. We are manifesting this. A couple more rapid fires for you when you look at this season. If you had to predict, again, it's just a prediction. It's nothing hard-nosed, but when and do you think you guys will have a 30 out of 30 week?
Ooh. You start seeing 10s about midway through.
Okay.
I always love a perfect score on Halloween night. I don't know why. It's just so fulfilling.
Okay.
I think those dances get really exciting because you can be like fun characters. Yeah. So I'm going to say hopefully Halloween night, which might be week 7.
Okay, week 7. Do you have any idea what the theme is in week 6 or 7 of your songs yet? Like how far?
No, they try to do a couple weeks in advance.
Okay.
But I don't know what the theme night would be for Halloween night. We always have a Halloween night because it falls like days on it or in between it. Okay. But no, we know like the next couple of weeks. Yep. They try to solidify like 2 weeks in advance.
Okay.
But I don't know what the theme will be for Halloween.
All right, we'll see. Let me ask you this. You see Joey dance. You've seen his skill set. We saw the cha-cha week 1. What dance do you think he'll have the hardest challenge with?
Just from the few moves that we've done, I think frame dances, which are the waltz, foxtrot, Viennese waltz, tango, and quick step, might be our harder dances.
Okay.
Joey is a lot better when he can be loose and free with like his upper body and his legs. And those ballroom dances are a bit more restrictive.
Sure.
It's a really uncomfortable position for guys because they have to like tuck their butt under and glide across the floor with bent knees, which is just such an unnatural feeling or sensation. Yeah. So I'm going to say those dances.
Okay.
We've got our work cut out.
You got your work cut out, but you're off to a hot start. Now, let's get into your career track, which was a hot start right from the get-go. 19. So I've had Lindsay Arnold on the show. You guys, you guys grow up together?
We did.
Okay, so you grow up
She
together.
is my best friend in the whole entire world.
She has such great energy.
Yes.
I feel like all the Arnolds just have such great energy.
They're the best.
Now, I talked to her a little bit about when she started dancing. I think it was 4 years old. For you, when did you start, and was it always that no matter what, dance was going to be in your lane for a lifetime?
So I started dancing when I was 3.
Wow. 3. That's
3.
Like, think about that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know. I have 2 older sisters, and they danced as well. So it was kind of just like a natural progression. I would be driven to the studio with them, and I'd want to just jump into class. Yeah. So my parents put me in when I was 3. Okay. And I kid you not, from a young age, I'm not going to say that young, but I would say like 10 or 12, I just always knew I wanted to dance. I didn't know how or what because Dancing with the Stars wasn't as popular back then. Yeah. But I just had so much passion for it, and I loved it so much, and my parents saw that. So they kept me in it. Wow. And it got more intense. I started to do more, be more competitive, go to more competitions. But at, I would say 16, I wanted to move to LA. Okay. To become a working dancer, whatever that meant.
Is that like when you're in, think about you're a hockey player growing up.
Yeah.
You know the NHL, AHL.
Yeah.
Is that the thought process of all dancers? Like, if you're going to make it, you got to go to LA?
You're going to go to LA or New York.
Okay.
So
it's like
the goal.
Broadway or something like that, or you're doing like
more musical theater route, Broadway, or LA's more commercial. Okay. And so that was always the dream. But my parents were like, no, you're going to be a normal kid. You're going to finish high school. Yep. And then as soon as I turned 18, I moved to LA. I actually did a show called So You Think You Can Dance first. Right. And that propelled me to be seen by the producers of Dancing with the Stars. We actually film at the same studio at CBS, and they had seen me and asked me to audition, and
before you take the shot on So You Think You Can Dance and then Dancing with the Stars, are you earning any form of income with, we went over all the achievements you've had. We only touched a couple of them. Like, can you make money from this at an early age?
You can. You can do shows, or you can assist on conventions, which I was doing. But it is a very scary career to pursue.
Right.
Because, I mean, I'll speak for myself right now. Technically, I'm unemployed 9 months out of the year. Dancing with the Stars is only 3 months where I can really know that I'm going to be solidified with a paycheck.
Wow.
And so it really, you have to hustle. You have to be proactive. That's why there's a lot of dancers, like especially in LA, just because I can speak from experience, auditioning every single day to get booked for a gig. And it's kind of paycheck to paycheck, or you're having to get an extra job. But the life of a dancer is no joke. And it's all out of passion. It really is. So I am such a huge advocate for all dancers who pursue it, because it is so scary, and just they do the most to make a living.
It's wild. Even the comparison of hockey and the NHL, is Dancing with the Stars, like, is that the place, like the number one place dancers want to be? Without a doubt. It's not even a question.
Without a doubt. Yeah, you can go on tour with an artist like Beyonce,
whoever,
that's pretty sick. which is pretty sick.
Cool.
But again, you would be shocked at what
they're paid. 10 years ago, right? If you look at if you're sitting there as a pro and you're saying, all right, this season I'm going to do what it takes to make sure I'm signed again. 10 years ago, there's no way social media is in the top 3 or 5 things. When you look at this year and getting signed again for next year, what are some of the top things that you're saying, okay, this year I have to do A, B, and C to make sure that I'm signed again for the following year?
I think there are so many variables. Obviously, casting is a huge part. So there's a lot of things that you're not in control of. But just me speaking personally, what I make sure that I'm doing in case I am brought on, I'm making sure that I am active. You know, my body is my tool. So doing the physical therapy, making sure that I'm working out or staying in dance shape, stretching, all of that is really important to me. And then, there is this nowadays pressure to be really active on social media. What's your brand? Who's tuning in? Are you doing enough? It's wild how that is such a big part of our industry now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Where you would think that like just your craft is enough.
Exactly.
But so there is that pressure as well. And then I think just staying busy is really big for me, because then it gets me momentum to go into the season.
Like busy?
Yeah.
Like just being in the front of
I really like to stay proactive on my dance, and this past summer was really nice. My husband and I were in a show in Chicago for 6 weeks called Savor After Hours.
Cool.
And we literally had 1 week and then started the show.
Wow.
It was a Broadway schedule, so we were doing 8 shows a week. So I was exhausted, but I didn't feel as a massive shift starting this show, which is so exhausting. Because I think my body was already in that routine. So that was really nice.
Crazy. I asked Sunili yesterday what was harder, getting prepared for the Olympics or Dancing with the Stars, and she didn't even think. She just instantly snapped, oh, Dancing with the Stars. I'm like, wait, Dancing with the Stars is harder than preparing for the Olympics. She said, it's not even a question. So it's wild to hear that. From your standpoint, though, when you think about income, Dancing with the Stars tour, a Broadway gig like that, or the actual show, where's the biggest source of income?
I'm going to say consistently the show.
Okay.
Because it is a 3-month period. But yeah, it is a really, really nice chunk.
I love it.
Of
that
consistent
is awesome.
income.
Well, good for you guys. I know certain things you can't share, so I'm not going to go into that. But one question that, guys, we talk about negotiating. We talk about like how to understand your value. Do you and Val like talk about what you're getting paid and how to negotiate? Do you guys keep it separate? Like, how's the love and money conversation look?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the show, there's not a lot of that. But when it comes to other gigs, it's hard to put a value on what your dancing is worth.
Right.
And we've had many discussions about it, and we do get hired a lot together as a couple. How do we split that?
Sure.
And it has varied when, I was just starting out and he was already the guy. So it's been really fun to like see, I guess, my worth or my value kind of go up and feel like I do have some negotiating power in shows or gigs that we get booked for. But it is wild. Like, how is this subjective thing dance? How do you put a price point on that?
Yeah. So it's probably talking about it and then just like guessing.
Yeah. It depends on what the gig is. How many numbers it is, what the time frame is, what the expectations are.
What do you mean by numbers? What are numbers in dance?
Meaning, like, how many dances are we going to be doing?
Okay.
Is it just one dance or is it 3?
Okay.
Is there a meet and greet involved in it? You know, these are different variables that I would think that do change the price point for sure.
Do they now, because of social media being so big and you having a great presence, and same with Val, will they actually like require certain deliverables on social media too with some of these things? Like, we need you to post 4 times too?
It depends. If it's a really big show, not usually.
Okay.
But again, depends on what the event is.
Yeah.
I think now social media is so prevalent that they will throw something in like that, or they'll just ask or want it to be part of it.
Sure.
But it is crazy that like now that is such a big part of
the game. Yeah. And it becomes
like tying it to not only just like, oh, we want you to dance, but and post about it.
Sure.
Like,
I know.
okay.
So you got to like go to the studio with your choreograph done and then 4 TikToks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed dramatically, but that's got to be a good income source for you when you're not dancing. So it leads to an opportunity there.
I have a love-hate relationship with social media in general because I don't feel like I am really amazing at it. I don't feel like I'm like, oh, I have this idea, I'm going to do it right now.
Sure.
I like to be super authentic with my social media and
Okay.
share what I want to share. I never want to be forced or feel like I'm forcing something because
Yeah.
I value my relationship with my followers or my
Sure.
fans. But I would be so stupid if I didn't take advantage of this incredible
Sure.
platform that when I was pregnant, I didn't do a season or a tour and I was able to provide for my family and still make the same amount of money. That's psychotic. Why would I not like take advantage of that and put effort into it? So I've had to talk myself into it, but I am really grateful that that's another source of income for our family.
Okay, we talked about Broadway, tour, Dance with the Stars. How does social media income rank in that category?
It depends.
I would guess it's the top.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say all year long.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. It's the most consistent, and it is, it's become probably my highest source of income.
I love it. That is awesome. One question I got for you. People back at home, whatever job it is, they deal with curveballs that impact the trajectory of their career.
Yeah.
You've already talked about 3 months. This is it. You got to nail it. You guys are then placed at random, however they do it, with different stars.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you got to play with the hand you're dealt, and sometimes the hands aren't fair. You've come in first place season 26, season 32, came in 12th place. Talk to me about what that process is like. Do you have any idea at all how, where, when they select who you'll be with and things like that? And
No.
if you are given a bad hand, which a lot of people at work that are listening to this are, how do you kind of deal with that, knowing there's only 3 months, 1 year, and this is it? This is your time to shine, gain your followers, and do your thing.
You never know who you're going to be paired with. It's not like they give you a heads up. So you're really, when your person opens the door, that's it.
Shoot.
Yeah. But it makes it exciting because it's our job. We were hired to teach somebody who doesn't know how to dance.
Yeah.
So even though it can be frustrating at times where you're like, oh, I'm getting eliminated third this season, you have to be creative. And then it's on us to try to either make America fall in love with their personality or do a really well-constructed dance. But you really are kind of at the mercy of the cards you're dealt.
Yeah.
And you can't change somebody if they don't have any rhythm or have 2 left feet. Like, you can't change that. But we can be smart choreographers and do the most.
Do the best you can.
Do the best and the most.
And if you do the most in those circumstances, going back to our last conversation, it probably has to help with getting re-signed, right?
Yeah.
So it's small things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Somebody like Emma, for example, this season, I think she is a brilliant choreographer. You know, we just saw her do her Dance with Reggie, and she did a great constructed routine where it still looked active.
Yeah.
He's not able to move a ton, but it was so entertaining and fun.
Yeah, it was. And we were all like, total, like when he was up there, we were rooting for
Oh,
him.
man.
He killed
He's
it.
adorable.
She killed it. Okay, let's go way back in time, all right?
Okay.
You meet Val. You're 19. I heard on the Lautner podcast, you said, or he said, I'm not trying to find love. I'm trying to find success, but it came his way. That is a good question for a lot of people, is how do you just balance this whole idea of, you know, falling in love with a work partner and then, of course, being married, and now you're a mother and you're one of the top pros. how do you balance it all? The work, love, life relationship.
There is definitely no book on it.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
It would be really nice if there was.
Yeah.
Val said that, and I was in a similar position. It was my first season on the show, and this is my dream gig.
Yeah.
And I do not want to mess this up.
HR violation coming
Literally. I don't want to mess this up. I want to be professional, but like, how do you deny feelings? And there was an immediate connection. Obviously, I'm this newbie. He's like the guy. So we kept it under wraps for a while, but it was kind of just inevitable, and everyone knew about it. But it's, how do you navigate a public relationship? I have no idea.
Yeah.
He doesn't. So we had to find a good balance.
Yeah.
And I think we've done a pretty good job now of having that balance. When like we're at work. And then when we're come home, we're just Jenna and Val, and we're parents to the sweetest baby boy in the world. But it's hard. I don't think anybody thinks that they're going to work with their spouse.
Yeah.
Like it's a very weird concept.
Right?
Yeah. And when we're both as passionate and competitive as we are, it's hard to not get obsessed with our work. We're so invested in the season with our partners, with our choreography, with how everything's going. So it's hard to take a step away from this bubble that we're in for these 3 months that are so intense, and to just be ourselves for a second.
Do you guys, like, is there competition at home? Like, is there a little competitive vibe? Who's going to do who? What does it look like?
It's weird because it's not like, oh, I have a better dance than you this week, and there's like passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're both alphas.
Yeah.
We're both Aries. We're psychopaths together. And yeah, we're really competitive. So it's not even that it's at each other, but it's with ourselves. And it's hard not to bring that home sometimes and like be upset that your day wasn't as good as it went, or that this move in rehearsal didn't work, or that you didn't have the best dance of the night. But he is my number one supporter. Wow. And when I got Joey this season, he was beyond excited for me because I was pregnant and then I got eliminated early last season. So he just sees the potential with Joey, and he's so excited for me. And yeah. And also, I was telling Joey this last night, like watching him dance, I get more nervous for him than I do myself.
Interesting. Why is that?
Watching anybody you love do something that they're so caring about is just terrifying.
Yeah, that's true.
It means so much to you.
Yeah, I get that. How about at home? Do you guys at all share? Like, do you say like, hey, I got this move coming up, or like, do you share your choreograph?
Oh, we help each other with everything.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he'll come home, show me his video of their dance. I'll show him mine. I'll ask for pointers. Yeah. I feel, I'm not going to say like we're cheating, but I'm so grateful to have an extra set of eyes that can give me a male perspective on what my partner should be doing. And then same for him.
That's huge. I love it. That is awesome. Okay, the sport in general, I had an ex that was on the show. It's very intimate. Yeah. It's very sexy. Yeah. And a lot of like couples that go into it get worried about like what's going to happen with their relationship. Totally. Being on your side of it as a pro, how do you handle that? And I think even going back to the Lautner podcast, Val said it's something I've worked on. Her looking so happy, having so much happiness with another partner. How is that something you deal with? Because I think all of us back at home can kind of think through that as we approach our relationships.
For sure. It's a weird concept, but I've been partnered with a boy since I was 10, doing these intimate moves. This was just part of my training. Yeah. So I think that obviously as dancers, we're a little bit desensitized to how intimate it is and how completely foreign that is for somebody stepping into our world for the first time. Totally. Right? Yeah. It's just part of our craft and our artistry, but I can totally understand how abrasive that visual is for a significant other to see or to watch. Sure. I think Val and I have a really interesting job because we have both spectrums of it. Yeah. And I'm grateful that he is able to give that support, and he's incredible when it comes to me being invested into the season. But it is really hard to manage. I think it's our job to make sure that we can do everything in our power as a partner to make our partners' significant others feel safe and part of the experience, to be open with our rehearsals, show them videos, make them feel part of it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like there's like this hidden thing happening.
Yeah, like there's this big wall.
Yeah.
Welcome. There's a big door on that wall. You're like, come look, come
please,
see, have at it.
Because you'll see I'm yelling at him for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And nitpicking.
Just beating the shit out of Joe.
Literally. So yeah, I think just being as open as possible and making them feel part of the experience really helps.
Do you think other pros, so obviously you and Val have it figured out, but do you see the other pros that don't have a significant other in the game struggle with that? Because we see it on the star side, right?
Yeah.
There's always interviews that always talk about it. We don't hear about it from the career track of a pro. Just from your vantage point, do you think other pros struggle with that?
I think we all know what our job is, and I think we've all had to learn.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
because
totally.
it can become hard and messy, and you just want you and your partner to have the best 3 months possible and for it to be a very positive experience.
Sure.
And you don't want any extra things coming into the studio that are already stressful and really intense. So I think everyone does a pretty good job about being professional and
It's just like you said, it's like different, being desensitized, like even like Bachelor Nation. Like I saw some of the comments and they're like, watch your hand, Jenna, put your leg down. Good luck with this relationship.
I know.
And it's wild how different stars who have different followings have different reactions to that area of the business, but it's part of the business. And you're rewarded for having better chemistry. Like,
that's the interesting part. And I think our fans of the show of Dancing with the Stars really understand that the couples that do have good chemistry and good friendships and look like they get along usually do better. You don't want to see two people that are like so cold and want nothing to do with each other. But I think they also appreciate dance and art and chemistry and how magic that partnership can really be and flourish to be.
All right, let me ask you this. We see all the different styles in the Dancing with the Stars competition. There's like jazz, there's Latin, there's ballroom, contemporary, all these different things. If you're, a comparison I'll give you is if you're a baseball pitcher and you're pitching lefty, you're more valuable to organizations.
Okay.
Is there one area of dancing or like one style that if you become the best at, you're bringing more value to the sport and industry? Like you got, or like MMA, there's all these different jiu-jitsu and boxing.
Yeah.
Everyone's now saying wrestling. Like, is there one style that if you're a dancer, like this is the one you gotta be the best at?
Oh, I think we have, okay, so if I'm talking about just like dance overall, I think we have a real advantage being ballroom dancers because we understand the concept of partnering. Okay. And that's a really hard art to perfect. And it's so magnificent when you do get it. And then if I'm thinking about like on the show, I think it's not a style. I really think it's about being a smart choreographer.
What does that mean though?
So you can be the best dancer ever, but if you are not constructing a smart routine that's going to translate on your partner and that's also going to read to camera, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter how many spins you can do if you're not orchestrating a smart routine to music that's going to make an impact to the audience. It's probably not going to read as well.
Interesting. Now, obviously, you and Val can work together.
Yeah.
You see Danny and Pasha, they can kind of work together. But do other dancers have like a team or do they outsource other people to help with this?
We all help each other.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
We have to do it on our own time. We call it prepping.
Yeah.
But I think we do use each other, and I'm really grateful for that help. Again, Val sometimes is busy, so I'll have to ask other guys. Like today even, I was like, Alan, can you help me show Joey this one move? Because again, also, I'm this girl. I don't look like a guy doing certain steps. So the visual even helps just our partners understand better what it should look like.
Got it.
So I think we all really help each other out, which is nice. But yeah, it's on us to create the piece outside of our rehearsal time and come prepared with choreography that our partner is going to be able to pick up.
Interesting. Now, this past summer, we'll see some Olympians that are on this season, but we also saw breakdancing in the Olympics. My understanding is there's no form of other dancing in the Olympics at this point. Why not? Do you see it happening soon?
It's really hard with dance, and we kind of spoke about it earlier, but it is such like a subjective sport because it's all about opinion.
Yeah.
Dance is hard because it's not like gymnastics. You can do certain skills and get a score based off of that. We don't have that set up yet.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really hard to see dance in the Olympics because it is art-based.
Yeah. But also like I mean, I don't know the specifics of it, but gymnastics is kind of a scoring based, right?
Yeah. Which, again, you have certain skills.
Yeah.
And if you accomplish that, you're going to get 10 or you're going to get 7.
Yeah.
We don't have that in ballroom. It's not like if you do a New Yorker, you're going to get a 6.
You'll get that point.
Yeah. We just don't. It's who you like best, who you think is fastest, who you think has best chemistry. It's so just opinion based.
Yeah. It's like almost too subjective.
Yes.
Yeah, and I guess they're going away with breakdancing at the Olympics.
I
so
know.
You know what a bummer.
I know.
That
we need it in there. You know, we have world championships in ballroom, which are the closest thing to the Olympics.
Yeah.
But it would be incredible to finally get dance.
It's time. It's time.
It's time.
Hopefully they'll do it. All right. How about your son, Rome? You think like the future of you started at 3? Are you starting to get him going? What's that look like? A ton of people submitted. Is he going to be a dancer?
I know.
What's the process
I
going to be?
know.
Are you going to push it? What do you think?
Val and I have very different feelings on this.
Okay.
We have so much dance in our life. He's a dancer. I'm a dancer. We choreograph separately, together. We travel and teach. We perform. I don't want Rome to feel pressured to do it just because we do it.
Okay.
I don't want him to have expectations for himself, from
Val's
others.
Like, get your ass in the studio.
And Val's like, he's going to be a dancer. No, he looks at it like, we have all of these resources, the top tier resources. How could we not take advantage of that?
Sure.
Which I understand.
Yeah.
But I want him to do whatever he's passionate about. I will support it. If it's dance, great. I'm really like, let's do tennis or like track and field. Let's be fast.
Let's mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Throw in another sport.
But you know, he loves music.
Yeah.
Every time there's music, he's dancing. He's bopping. He has incredible rhythm. And I'm like, oh no, it's happening.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, I think he's set up to be probably one of the best dancers in the world. You look at both your accolades, you put those resumes together, and he might be the Wayne Gretzky of dance.
Oh my goodness,
for sure.
thank you. It's literally in his blood. So yeah.
Talk to me about some of the other businesses you guys own. So I know there are, right? Val owns a couple studios.
Yes, yeah.
You do teaching. What are some other ways that if someone's listening to this, they have a son, they have a daughter, or themselves are thinking about pursuing dance as a profession, they can't land Dancing with the Stars as a pro.
Yeah.
Where else can you make money in this space?
Yeah, I think that was a big concern for my parents of letting their 18-year-old go to LA.
Go to LA with the pipe dream,
yeah,
which worked out though.
Yeah, but so yeah, like you said, Val has 14 locations of social dance studios. Yes.
Damn.
A lot in the tri-state area. There's some in Texas, some in Atlanta. So he and his brother and his dad run those.
Yeah.
They're called Dance With Me Studios. We teach on conventions.
Okay.
So we travel around the country and teach at these weekend conventions, which are incredible. The students, and these are for kids. So it's ages 8 to 18. That's a great way to make some money by teaching. Obviously, you can teach at different studios, go in set pieces of choreography, or just teach master classes. And then, being a working dancer, being on Broadway, doing commercials, music videos, going on tour with an artist. These are all different ways that you can make money as a dancer.
We've seen Derek and Julianne kind of create their own brand.
They are the superstars of dancers, yes.
Right? Now they're judges. They're running the show. 5 years from here, 10 years from now, Jenna, like, where do you see it? What's the dream for you when it comes to your career track in this space?
I would love to continue pushing myself as a choreographer. I really love that. And obviously I love doing it on the show, but I'd love to do it for film, TV, or movies. I think it's so awesome to see that integrate dance and film. I have a dream of being on Broadway. I'd love to be in Chicago.
Oh, it's such a good show.
It's just my dream.
It's such a good show.
I'm not going to claim myself to be a singer, but I can sing,
Ariana,
hold a tune.
Ariana Maddox pulled it off. Did you see her or no?
I didn't get to see her, but I've heard she's absolutely stunning in it.
I went, and she killed the dance. The singing was good, but all in all, killed it. Absolutely killed it. And that's a hard role to kill.
Yes.
So
Roxy.
Right,
so yeah, I'd love to be on Broadway. And then, I just want to keep, again, I think once my dancing is over, because again, a woman's body only is able to sustain so much, especially after kids and everything. I love the back end of TV.
Cool.
I'd love to executive produce, creative produce. producing this show would be insane. So I really look up to a lot of our producers and would love to shadow them.
Cool.
I think it would be a really fun transition.
What is that age? You mentioned just like dancing takes a toll on the body. Like, what is that age typically it takes the toll where you're like, I might have to bow wow? Like, if you had to look at the average.
I think it varies. For guys, I think it's longer, for sure.
Why is that? You're not doing flips in the air 24/7.
Yeah,
right?
you're not pushing kids out.
You're not pushing kids. Daddy's doing
that
all this.
One thing.
Had a kid yesterday. You're doing all. It's not.
Yeah, my brother-in-law Max, he's in his 40s and he's still dancing
going.
and ripping it.
Yeah.
But I would say for women, maybe like 36 to 38.
Okay.
Professionally, again, where you're still able to do shows.
Yeah. Okay.
And dance your fullest.
Sure.
We've had pros on the show that are 40 and women that are 40. So I think it really varies, especially with how many kids you have.
Sure, of course.
So we'll see. But I definitely want to tap into other things because I do want to have more kids and I want to be able to transition smoothly. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about calming the nerves a little bit. So there's a lot of people listening to this. They go to an interview. They're like freaking out. They have a presentation. They're trying to get prepared for the moment. Maybe it's even like they're going on a date and they're just like nervous as all hell. Right before the show goes live, I'm sure there's got to be some nerves jambalaya a little bit, especially on a season premiere. What are some things internally, externally, routines, breathing techniques, anything you do to just keep grounded and keep calm?
Yeah. And Joey and I had just spoken about this because I still get butterflies every time we go live. There's no feeling like it. There's so much pressure and yeah, I've really had to learn how to listen to my body. Yeah. And I think breathing techniques are great. I think also just staying focused. I have found the ability to kind of hone in and zone everything else out.
So you're just like locked in on what's happening, nothing else.
No, I don't see anybody. I don't think about anything. I kind of tried to like get to that meditative state of clearing my brain. Yeah. So I can be so present in that moment.
So when you're dancing with Joey yesterday, the only thing happening in your brain is like the next move and the current move.
Yeah, is Joey, my performance, and our next steps. And it's really hard to do, and I still struggle with it, and I have to like pull myself back into that moment. But I've learned that when I'm not focused like that, that's when I make stupid mistakes.
Interesting.
That's when I'm not 100%.
Interesting.
That's when I'm not myself. So I really think that like you can train your brain to focus on one thing. And for us, it's a minute 30. Yeah. You can find that self-power to do it. And I think you're so much more present in that moment. And after, it's so much more fulfilling than getting distracted. Yeah.
Just being present. It's the power of being present, which is especially today with the phones and everything else, it's like next to impossible. Hard. What is your proudest moment in your career? If you look back to everything, Dancing with the Stars or not, you're like, this was the marquee moment. And I'll give you a little tease. The next follow-up is going to be, what was like the biggest payday you ever had financially? Like, what was the biggest payday? So proudest moment and payday.
Proudest moment was actually just recently.
Cool.
We were asked to choreograph a tribute for Len Goodman, who was our head judge. And proudest moment was choreographing that piece and being able to do that for him. But then we were also nominated for an Emmy for it.
So
and
cool.
That's just like a bucket list goal that we've had forever. And so to be recognized for that was insane. And then financially, I would say either doing a full season, making it to the end. Okay. Getting all of those bonuses, getting my full season's check was incredible. But I've had some incredible social media deals that I would have never dreamed of getting a number like this in one post.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You know, so I look back to when I was pregnant, it was a really big thing for me financially to be like, can I do this? Can I take 9 months plus off? Right. And there were some social media deals that
came through.
Yeah.
Saved the day.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's end with a money rapid fire before we get your trading secret. I'll ask you a few questions. Just give me your initial response. Ready to go for it?
Okay.
Little trading secrets, money rapid fire. What is one thing you overspend on? You go look at your credit card right now. You know you overspend on it.
Easy.
And unless you go broke, you're not going to stop.
Athleisure.
What's your go-to? What's your like? Is it Aloe, Lululemon?
No, it's Set Active right now.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. All right. I
feel like
honestly, get that shit for free though.
But and
like
that's
they're
like
being
my
gifted
work
left and right.
uniform.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm
I
saying.
feel like I spend an endless amount on sports bras and leggings.
That makes total sense. What is like you look at all the money inflows and outflows, what do you think the worst money move you ever made was? Uh-oh, we got an immediate laugh there.
Oh, I don't know. You know what? When I moved in with Val, I was paying for an apartment for months that I did not need to.
Okay.
And it was like, let it go. And I
Yeah.
didn't. And
Yeah.
it was for too long. And I had a storage unit as
Okay.
well.
Oh, geez.
So I was
Just
just
cash just
throwing, and I was
rolling out
living
the
in
door.
LA,
Yeah.
and just bye-bye.
Yeah, well, it all worked out. You guys ended up together.
Thank-
So
yeah.
a good investment.
Yeah.
What would you say the best investment you ever made is? You took the money, even if it doesn't even connect to return, you're just like, hell yeah, I'm glad I did that.
We got really lucky. We bought a home in 2020, during the
Nice.
pandemic, and it was the stupidest, best thing we ever did.
Yeah.
We only lived there for a year and a half, but the market was insane, and we were able to sell it for a lot more than we bought it for.
Hell yeah.
And it was like our first real investment.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of us for taking that leap because
Huge.
yeah, we did it. And
Yeah.
it was so terrifying during the pandemic to do this,
Took
but
a shot.
I'm really glad we did.
And you think about how much you can make in that transaction versus how much you have to like claw and grab for, just like hustling. So that is awesome. Last one I got for you before we go to your trading secret. Dream dollar amount. Like it could be an annual amount. It could be like in 1 year, I dream to make this amount of money. It could be, I hope one day I can accumulate this amount of money. Give me some dream dollar amount.
I'm going to say this isn't a crazy number, but I think just as a personal goal for me, I'm just going to say $1 million in a year.
Yes, let's go.
In 1 year.
This is how it happens. You put it out there. The deals keep coming, and it's going to happen. And when it does happen, you're coming back on.
Yeah.
How about it? We good with that?
I'm good.
All right, let's go. Money manifesting.
Yeah,
right
1
here.
million 1 year.
1 million
Myself.
1 year. It's coming down, and hopefully a mirror ball on the way. Jenna, it's been so good hearing about your career track, all the behind the scenes of Dance with the Stars. We got to wrap with the trading secret. So something unique to you. It could be money management, career navigation. It could be love. It could be tips on relationships. Anything that's just special to your experience. What can you leave us with?
There's so many different ways I could go with this, but I think for me, my biggest secret while navigating my career, my love life in front of the public, while growing up in front of the public, has just been to be so immensely and fiercely true to myself. I know that's so cliche to say, but the times where I lost myself, that's when I feel like I was just in the dumps financially, physically, emotionally. And the second that I just stuck to my guns and didn't care what anybody else thought or said about me was when I found true peace and freedom.
What do you think? I think it's an unbelievable trading secret, but when you talk about losing yourself, like what do you think are things that led to you losing yourself?
I think comparison on the show, trying to be somebody that I wasn't, trying to, when I was younger on the show, I wasn't a pro yet. I was on troupe, and I looked up to these female pros so much, but I wanted to be them, and I didn't know my own value or worth. Okay. So I think, and I was trying to be somebody that I just was not. Sure. And I wasn't good at my dancing anymore. It was weird. It was a version of myself that I did not love or respect. So I think, stay true to all of those things that you've grown up with, trained in, believed in so hard. Don't let other things ruin it for you. Okay, last follow-up I got, because I think it's brilliant, is a lot of people that are listening to this are trying to drop into their authentic self. They are lost, and they're trying to get back to who they are, especially with social media and everything. It's a constant comparison game. What are some things that you did or advice you would give to someone that's like, I'm really trying to find that self? How do you find that self? It's really hard. Again, I read negative comments about myself every single day. Yeah. And when I was younger and not as secure in myself, in my relationship, in my career, they would really affect me and taint my day. Sure. And I'm going to say that becoming a mother has saved me in the best way possible. I just don't have time or energy to care about any of it. Yeah. There is the most perfect little being that has all of my attention and who loves me undeniably. And he's really just given me so much more purpose and understanding of life. Like all of this stuff just doesn't matter.
Whatever.
What?
Yeah.
So and two, I want to be a good example for him when he's going through these years in his life. I want to be able to be strong and not be a bad example of like I gave into reading into things or spending too much time caring about what others thought of me.
Right.
So I really think that becoming a mother has really shifted my perspective.
I like that. Becoming a mother, and I also like what you said before. It was like, I need to look in the mirror. I need to see that person on social or on TV and be like, I love and respect that person. I don't care if anybody else does. I think that's a great trading secret. Jenna, thank you so much for coming on Trading Secrets. Where can everyone find everything you have going on?
Yes. Well, you can first tune in to Dancing with the Stars every Tuesday.
Vote Joey 215-23. 215-23. Text Joey 10 times, and it opens up like right when the show starts, right?
Right at 5.
Okay.
5 p.m. Yeah, and then social media, just Jenna Johnson. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on this episode.
Thank you.